And the Wild Boys are back. Wayne Williams, Bart Murphy, Abu Dhabi 2024. And that's a wrap. It is the end of an amazing season. I got to say, we both thoroughly enjoyed this season. And of course, with McLaren winning that Constructors Championship. And man, what a run. What a run. What a season. A lot of changes, a lot going on. And we'll talk about it. Bart, what's going on?
After 1997, which is my favorite season because Villeneuve won the championship,
Uh-huh.
and then 2007, I would say that this is the best year for racing Formula One racing that I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, like 7 or 8 different winners, all the ups and downs from the teams, from Red Bull, starting off strong, then coming, just going through their issues, and then McLaren again, just halfway through the season, just taking control. Ferrari, Mercedes up and down in there as well too. It was nice to see four teams kind of juggling for the wins and positions, and a lot of movement as opposed to the dominance that we've seen in the past, right? With whether it be Mercedes, whether it be Ferrari. But yeah, what an amazing season and a great end to it as well too.
Yeah,
Much
Max
going
comes
on.
out of the gate and wins five, six in a row, and you're like, oh, here we go again.
There we go again. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everything changed. McLaren got their wind tunnel, and the rest is history.
Hmm. That's for sure. So let's just we'll go through the race obviously, and a few other things to chat about coming up the next couple of seasons, 25 and 26, and 26 when the changes come into play. But a few drivers to say goodbye to. Let's start with that. First of all, Joe Granu, Kevin Magnussen, Bottas, all saying goodbye, and then of course the rumors of Checo, which again I'm like, what's up with that? Yeah, what's up with that, right? So we'll see whether we'll see these drivers again, or probably in other formulas. But
Hmm.
sad to see guys like Bottas go. Like he's been pretty strong over the years, and of course a great teammate with Lewis, and still good friends. So Magnussen, great driver too, and Joe Granu, he's I think he'll find his way. Maybe
I think so too. I think
deep
so
down,
too.
down paddock somewhere. But
Yeah, yeah.
we will see.
He'll be a reserve driver, I think, somewhere. And
Yeah,
there's a rumor
absolutely. I hope so.
that Merck might take him on. Magnussen just about 20 minutes ago, Wayne, announced he's driving for BMW
Oh,
in
okay.
the
Oh,
World
all
Series.
right.
So he's got a ride. It's not an F1,
In
but
another series. Okay. All right.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
already he's got a ride.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
probably in the works for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, BMW is another series. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course LH Lewis Hamilton heading to Ferrari. So a few driver changes there next season. That's going to be very exciting. And
Wayne, did you
yes,
see him roll in the red? I mean,
I love it. I love it. He's now one of the other reasons why Ferrari hired him on Mr. Fashionista, right? Yeah.
well, do you think they'll come out with a Ferrari clothing line that's that's
Oh,
not just
that's coming.
yeah.
That's coming for sure,
That'll
right?
be interesting to see.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So fitting, I thought I'd wear my Mercedes West shirt, and
Yeah.
of course representing all kinds of things from McLaren to to Hamilton, and even before they were Vodafone here. So as you can see on the picture on the back end there. So yeah, look at that, 26 years. There it is. Nice, nice.
Yeah, that's a great looking shirt, and that was a great car too. Hakkinen and
Yeah,
Coulthard. Yeah, yeah, a good time to be a Formula One fan.
it was.
96
It
to
was.
2000, 2001.
Yeah,
Awesome, awesome times.
absolutely. It's a little
Yeah.
big, but they only made them in like this large, extra large
Well, those are
back
crew. Those are real crew shirts,
crew,
right? So
crew
that's
shirt.
a
Yeah, yeah, real, yeah.
so that's a crew member. Like you probably got some oil on that or some gas somewhere. That was worn in the pits. That's one of a kind right there.
Authentic.
That's it.
Authenticity. All right.
Yeah.
So you want to chat about the race?
Yeah. How about Leclerc passing 8 cars on the first lap?
Wow. They showed that sequence. I've seen that sequence a few times online, and of course, Sky Sports. And just wow, that
Yeah.
was that was that was championship driving right there.
He
Yeah,
was
he
on
just
he
had
was
it
on
down.
fire. Yeah.
Checking mirrors, just executing the passes, knowing when to cut in, and just yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I thought for sure that that was the record, but apparently Max has that. Chinese Grand Prix 2017, he passed 9 cars on the first lap. So yeah, and
You know, you have a fast
I've
car
got
when, right?
I've got footage of that, but that was starting on wet tires. The conditions were a little bit off, but this was dry, and Leclerc was on the same tires as everybody else. So yeah, and I've got footage of the Max lap if you want to see it later.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but how about Max Verstappen getting a 10-second penalty for what kind of a move was that, Wayne?
I don't know. I don't know. And you know what? Like, yeah, it's just Max will be Max, right? I mean, it's that that's the pro and the con of his driving style and who he is that he will always when he sees that gap, he's going for it, right? Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but the odds are, it works out for him. Obviously, with a 4-time world champion, but just the danger and just taking out other drivers and just he's gotta. And the other thing that kind of, again, I always say, Max is an amazing driver. You can't take anything away from him. The talent is unheard of, right? So in that respect, all good.
He was a little
But
bit
Max,
disrespectful on the radio, though. He said sarcastically, "Why don't they give me 20 seconds, those idiots?"
but
And I,
Max never ever admits that he's wrong. That's what I was just gonna say, right? You kind of yeah, you beat me to it, right? He just can't say, yeah, that was a bonehead move. I should have done that. Or
yeah,
not even saying that, but just shut up. Not saying anything. Yeah, okay, I kind of deserve that one.
yeah,
Not ever has he got a penalty and he's like, yeah, I kind of deserve that one. He's always got something to say that it's somebody else's fault. I shouldn't have got it. They weren't fair to me, blah, blah, blah. That's what drives me nuts because he doesn't need to do that.
no, and he doesn't even admit it after the fact when he's watching the
No,
replay.
no.
Yeah, crazy. I do have to agree with Max, though. The stewards have been idiots, for lack of a better term,
Yeah,
giving penalties away. Like
yeah.
Piastri, bumping the back of the Williams in the parking lot gets a 10-second penalty. Hulkenberg got a 3-place grid penalty. Like where did 3 come from all of a sudden?
Yeah.
So yeah, but what a great race. And I mean, so Leclerc passes 8 cars on the first lap, and he ends up passing 16 in total.
Yeah. Yeah. And then speaking of passing, right? So um Lewis, I
Yeah,
mean, again, how many times did I hear throughout the broadcast and after the broadcast and post race and online is that man was that the drive of a 7-time world champion or what? Just on fire, leaving it all on the track, knowing it's his last race. And it was so good to hear, um, Bono again with this. Hey, Lewis, gave him some stats and then hammer
yeah,
time for the last time. That was I got kind of got emotional on that one. Let me tell you.
yeah, yeah. And it was nice to see George getting past 2 on the last lap.
Yes, that
I've
was a
got
nice one.
yeah, one of our listeners actually sent this in, so we'll just have a quick look because we
Nice.
missed that, right? So
Yeah, yeah. That load that he had the inside quarter on that going on the outside first.
yeah, sweet little move there by Lewis.
Yeah. Well, the way he sized them up though, like there was planning all the way through the lap for that take, and especially where he took him, and
Yeah,
then going around the outside, knowing that he had the inside corner, the inside line. Yeah, just brilliant.
and
Brilliant.
George
And
was the
you know
12th
what? Give
car.
it to George too, right? Give it to George too, not to be too aggressive on the defensive side as well, right?
Yeah. So that was the 12th car that Lewis passed.
Right.
Was his
Wow.
teammate. Yeah.
Wow.
So impressive race from Lewis too, for sure.
Yeah, but the strategy on starting him on the hard tires really helped him out too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because he
Because
had those
he went
fresh.
long, right? Yeah, and then he had that medium at the end. That grip was just he was like 8 or 9 laps. Newer tires towards the end, and he had grip around the corners. He could accelerate off the corners quicker. It was nice to see. That was Mercedes has got the strategy screwed up a few times, aka qualifying,
Mm,
sending him out that late. Because if he think about what he ended up, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Think about if he would have qualified, second, third, fourth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That would have been
It
because that really that's too
would have
bad.
been
That was
amazing.
really too bad.
Do you think at the end when Lewis had the better tire that he had flashbacks to 2021 when what happened with that,
Oh yeah,
where Max had the better
I
tire
don't
at the
know.
end of the race
Yeah, not quite the same, but yeah,
and won
I
the
hear you.
championship? Yeah, not quite the same, but
Yeah, but
nightmares
still,
and flashbacks about that
right?
one.
Yeah, and speaking of that too, we just we talked about Lewis and of course his history with Mercedes and the fact that I don't know, it just still irks me, and I know that the Sky Sports Martin Brundle and a couple Crofty and those guys were talking about the fact that they still get messages, emails all the time
Yes,
about Lewis losing that championship, right?
yes,
And it's funny how it's just been buried, right? Just Formula One, that
yeah,
whoever it was, it's just disappeared, right? The
yeah.
race director, you don't hear from him. Like where did he go, right?
We're not
He
sure. I
was
think
just
he's
moved.
on an island somewhere
Yeah,
that's only reachable, by private
buried in the
jet or
desert. Yeah, yeah. The
somewhere.
Las Vegas Grand Prix. You'll find him one day, one year in the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Uh, well, the other one that's been buried, we'll have to chat about this one because it's an interesting story for anybody that wasn't a fan of Formula One in 2008. But shoes on the other foot, Lewis Hamilton ended up winning the championship. Felipe Massa
Oh, Massa, yeah,
for a minute and 30 seconds was the world champion until Lewis passed Glock on the final lap.
yeah,
And that whole thing, there was some controversy with that too, with the whole Crashgate thing in Singapore. It's a long story, but
yeah.
basically, Massa says, well, that race should have been, not counted, should have been disqualified. And if that's the case, then he would have won the championship. But anyway, that's a story for another time. But
Well,
there's
yeah,
an
I think they're reaching on that one because that's a legitimate crash on the last lap. I prove the fact that was some kind of conspiracy that was all planned and come on, you know
yeah,
what I mean? But
yeah,
I get it. I get why Massa would, they'll reach for. I mean, they'll try to do anything, right? When you
yeah,
think you won a world championship and then it gets taken away. Well, it was never really given to you because the race hadn't ended.
right,
You just thought that you won it, right?
right.
You can't. Yeah,
Can
you
you
can't say, "Oh, I won it," and it was taken away from me. No, you didn't. The
can you
race hadn't.
imagine the disappointment though, Wayne? I mean, you go from thinking you're world champion, like you're legitimately
Uh,
celebrating in the pit,
well,
hugging with your family to, oh, like we're second, and like I couldn't imagine the devastation.
yeah, I'm mixed on that because you're not world champion until that checker flag
Well, that's true.
flies, and
That's true.
everybody's gone through, and penalties was and then but when you're still racing and your father's jumping around and everybody's like you're still racing, like hang
Yeah,
on, like
yeah,
be like this, right? But don't
yeah.
celebrate yet, right? I don't know.
There's somebody else who might be disappointed today, Wayne. Somebody might, maybe not to that extreme, but imagine waking up. So like this is parked in your driveway. You go to sleep. It's Sunday night, and this beautiful 90 is parked in your driveway, and you wake up Monday morning, and this is there instead.
What? What does that mean?
Carlos Sainz had his first run in a Williams today in Abu Dhabi.
Uh, those are the two cars you're comparing it to. So was it that bad? I didn't see
Oh,
it.
well, I don't know. Like,
Come on, it couldn't have been that bad. The Williams isn't that, especially
uh,
since that's my last name, dang nabbit.
well, that's not a Woody, that's a panel. So yeah,
Yeah.
but imagine that though, going from Ferrari. And the last time that happened actually was Felipe Massa, 2013, 2014. He was driving for Ferrari and ended up at Williams. But that was even more extreme because the Williams was really like a sled
Really
back
bad.
then.
Yeah, exactly. But the
Yeah,
Williams isn't that slow anymore. Like
it's
they,
not
they're
that bad.
coming.
You're
No, no,
right.
they're coming. They
You're
just been
right.
having some bad
You're,
luck with drivers and circumstance and
you're right. It
happenstance.
doesn't have a rumble seat. You're right.
Yeah, we'll see, man. You're gonna eat your words in a couple of years. You
Well,
will.
listen, I'm a Williams fan.
Yeah,
You
that's true.
know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that. There's a '97, and then the other side here. If get out of the way, there's a 2001
Okay,
Williams shirt, right?
I got you. All right.
So, you know, are you a
Yeah, I'm
Ferrari
looking
fan
forward
now,
to it.
Wayne? Are you a
I
Ferrari?
know. Yeah, I'm a. You know what? I'm a Lewis fan, right? So, you know, we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, but you know what? It's the Ferrari. I mean, what can you say about a legendary team like that, right? So, nothing but the good stuff, and the fact that they, uh, ready to take on, Lewis. You can still say that Lewis is an amazing driver. Their stock went up when he joined, right? Um, Hopefully, he will be embraced by everybody.
Tifosi, yep. Yeah,
Um, and we'll go from there, right? So,
yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting. That
mhm.
leads me to my next question, Wayne. Who do you think, actually, let me start over. Who do you want to win the 25 championship? The 2025 championship. Who do you
Mm,
want?
well, obviously, I mean, it's kind of, yeah, because of Lewis's, should have won 8 championships. I'd love to see him do it sooner than later because, whether we realize it or not, he is getting up there in years, right?
Hmm.
And hey, reaction time over the course of 17, 18 years of he's it takes its toll, right?
Yeah,
So I'd like to see him. So yeah, well, I'd love to see him. Who I think will win, I
yeah,
don't know. It's a good question. It depending on the cars aren't going to change too much this year. So I think McLaren's just going to be strong as well too. So maybe one of Norris or Piastri. I think that Red Bull is going to be strong as well. So, but if I were to pick one, I would probably say maybe Norris.
okay, so your want is Lewis, and your prediction is Lando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, my want is Piastri.
Uh-huh.
I really want him to win. I think he's the only driver that kind of stays out of all of the crap, and he's quiet, and
Yeah.
he's good, and he's coming. You can see him. He gets a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit better, a little bit better, a little
Yeah.
bit better all
He's
the
a great
time.
driver too. Yeah.
So I want Piastri to win, but who I
Mhm.
think is going to win, my prediction is Max. And I'll tell you why. I think it's going to be Max again because you've got a big problem at McLaren, and now you have a big problem at Ferrari. And the big problem is who's the number one driver? That's a big problem. So when you've got two number one drivers like they've got at McLaren, and I think Piastri's got, and this is the papaya orders thing or whatever. I think Piastri's got a clause in his contract, and the reason he didn't go to Alpine and he went to McLaren is because they told him you're not going to be a number two. The second team that has that issue is Ferrari. Leclerc is a number one driver, and Lewis is a number one driver.
Mm-hmm.
So, who do you give special treatment to when it comes time to look at the standings and say, well, we're not going to we're diluting the points because one of you isn't better than the other. So, who gets the preferential treatment, right? Do you see what I mean?
No, I see what you mean. Yeah, for sure. But I also think that if that's your biggest problem, then you're doing okay. So,
From
so
a
they'll have to figure
constructor's
it out.
from a constructor's standpoint,
Yeah,
yeah, you're doing okay. From a driver's
yeah,
standpoint,
yeah. Yeah, as long as they don't keep taking each other out.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, that's
as
true.
long as
But
the team decides to, to lay down, the law, I think that the demeanor of both drivers on the Ferrari side next year between Lewis and Leclerc, I think that they're aggressive, they're great drivers, but they're not. I think they're still team players as well too, right? So
who do you think is the number one driver at Ferrari?
is a number one driver. I think it would have to be. I think just because of experience, it would be Lewis.
Yeah,
Um, but whether they're going to actually make that statement or I don't think that they will. I think it'll be more of a race by race. It'll be internal. It'll be how the season plays out. Just this pans out. So I think that they go that route as opposed to naming, especially the caliber of both those drivers.
yeah, for sure. Big problems to good
Yeah,
problems to have for sure.
good,
But
good problems to have for sure.
I
Yeah.
just think Max is the number one, and they're going to focus all of their attention on him, so he gets, and at the end of the year, I think it's just going to pay off for him. So
Mm.
so that's where
Yeah.
we stand. We'll see how we do.
It's only like 3 months before they start testing again.
97 days until the season
Yeah,
starts.
yeah,
Yeah,
3 months, a little
yeah,
over
yeah,
3 months.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
Very good, very good.
Is that 97 before the season starts or testing starts?
Season.
Yeah. So testing, yeah,
Yeah,
even sooner.
yeah. How did we do in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah.
Well, you were
Yeah,
disadvantaged because Max took you out.
I know. I think it would have been at least maybe 1-2. I really do.
I think so. I think so
Yeah,
for sure.
nice win. Nice one. Nice
Yeah.
one. You missed that one. So what are the standings looking like now?
I think we're even. We're even after the races.
Okay.
So yeah, all even. I actually didn't do a tally, but because we
Oh,
only
okay.
we only started the show like, you know, uh, 8 races ago or 9 races ago.
Yeah.
So after our 12-year hiatus.
Right. I think we started too soon with our podcast, right? It was still strong.
Yeah,
This is our second time around, but we were ahead of our time when it comes to podcasting and even Formula One, right? Because the popularity of it now is tenfold, right? So,
absolutely. Yeah, it's
yeah,
great. It's crazy to see how popular it is. I went to the F1 exhibition in Toronto.
yeah, me too.
Oh, you did, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the amount of people that were there.
Yeah,
I was just like, "What are you? This is crazy," you
yeah,
know?
it was crazy.
Yeah, but it was a cool. What was your favorite part of the exhibition?
The fact that they had reaction time testers,
Yeah.
and I did it, and I scored pretty well.
Did
I think
you?
I was like,
Yeah.
I was like the top of the day, something like that, or top 3 or something for the day. I was like, pretty surprised, but I've always had good reaction time, and yeah, but all joking aside, I just like the fact that they went the history of it to current,
Yeah.
and it was very diverse just in terms of the way they put it together, all the visuals from footage film to displays to cars to just helmets, accessories, drivers' gloves, and that was pretty extensive, right? And
Yeah,
then of
yeah.
course you got to sit, you got to play. I also did the the virtual races, and obviously I got a little um,
How'd you do?
I
You
played
do
at home
okay?
too. Yeah, I did pretty good too
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Cool, cool.
yeah.
Well, it took me a minute to realize it was the Canada track. I don't know because you don't see it from that side.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I was after the first couple of turns. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
yeah. That wall. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. One of my favorite parts. Yeah, it was really strange to see Roman Grosjean's burnt out car. That
that
was
was. Yeah, that's a fair point. I forgot that was even there.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
crazy, and the little tribute they had to Gilles Villeneuve was really great too.
That was
Really,
nice.
really good. Really well done.
It was, yeah, it was. It was well done. Yeah, and I love the fact that when you bought tickets, that you kind of they spread it out so that you wouldn't have that get it all jammed up in long lines, and so you bought like tickets in like half-hour increments or 15 minutes, so that it flowed well throughout the day, right? Which
Yeah,
is cool.
exactly. Yeah, highly recommend if it comes to your
Yeah,
city. Yeah,
yeah, for
go
sure.
check it out for sure.
Yep. All righty.
Well,
Well,
Wayne, I got a little poem, a little
a poem. Okay.
well, it's not it's like an ode to the season and a message to the drivers.
Okay. Do tell. Go
Okay,
ahead.
you're laughing.
Yes, I am.
The cheesy music in the background. Welcome, Kimmy, Ollie, Gabe, and Jack. It's time for you youngsters to plan your attack. Colapinto for now, you must step aside, but before too long, we'll see you drive. All we're saying is give Yuki a chance, not with the V-Carb crew, but with the Big Red, he'll make a stance. The Aussie mullets, bad karaoke, and mustache sins. Bottas, it was with Merck you had a few wins. Checo, might be your last race. You had a great run, but this year, a fall from grace. K-Mag, you'll always have that moment in the sun. Pole in Brazil. Where do you go next? There are seats in the Cadillac still. Smooth operator, Williams mechanics hope it's faith you'll restore, 'cause they've been worked to the bone here in 2024. Hamilton, you got big shoes to fill. Following in the footsteps of Enzo, Michael, even Gilles. So, yes, change is the only constant. With a tenth here and there, watch out around Monaco, you'll miss walls by a hair. Let's raise a Moe bottle to the people in the stands and the crew in the pits. We admire your courage, keep the faith, and your wits.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was fun.
So Colapinto, he's got a future. Sorry, folks, we just had a little technical difficulty there, we're back.
The ghost in the machine.
Yep,
He done did it.
yep,
Yeah, Colapinto. Yeah, it's yeah. Hey, he's young.
yep.
He'll be back.
He will.
He'll be back for sure.
He will.
Um, you know what? I want to go back to we were talking about science and just him moving over to Williams, and I guess to talk about the fact that what a great in terms of his character, and you put it in your poem as well too, just smooth operator, and just how he's dealt with the whole thing with Lewis, and the quote that he was talking about, the fact that if he's going to be replaced by anybody, he could be replaced by Lewis Hamilton. He doesn't feel as bad, right? And then he's
Yeah,
been graceful about it for sure. And let's not forget about him having his appendix out, and
yeah,
then coming back and winning. Was it Australia? Like,
yeah,
come on, right?
yeah.
So
As a
amazing.
Williams fan, I have to say, Wayne, this is the most excited I've been for a driver in a long time. The reason
Hmm.
I haven't really I haven't really attached to anybody from Williams for like a really long time. There's been some great drivers that have come through. Early 2000s, I really liked Juan Pablo Montoya, hothead, but he was a great driver. You know,
Yeah, I was
but
a big fan.
but really since that sort of the BMW left, this is the first time as a Williams fan that I am excited about a driver.
Yeah.
So
You have every right to be excited, and again, it's going to be quite a season with all the changes and the moves, and we're looking forward to it. Let's see if it'll top this one. So,
yeah,
we'll
how can you top it? I guess you could, but
oh
it
yeah,
well it'll be topped because I think there's going to be 4 or 5 drivers fighting for the championship.
yep, yep. As we mentioned earlier, that's the beauty of what happened. Even this season, and I think it will just be amplified next year. So
Absolutely.
we will see.
Yeah.
All right. All right,
Yeah.
man. Well, so we will. Hey, thanks for everybody that has been hanging out with us over the last 8, 9 races or so, and
Yeah.
we will continue this thing into next season, of course, and then we'll run a few episodes in the off season just to catch up and say hello, and enjoy your holiday season, and give somebody an F1 gift or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'd like the sport needs more money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll talk about that next year as well, too.
Yeah, for sure. But we'll do a bunch of shows between now and in the
Yeah.
next 97 days. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll keep going. But there's lots to talk about. So
Yeah. All right. Wayne Williams, Bart Murphy signing off. Happiness isn't around the corner. Happiness is the corner. Have a good one.